All right, music fans, welcome back. Harmless Dave here talking about real music in real time for a few real people out there just like you and just like me. Before I get started on this video, these guys sent me this disc a while ago, and I did feature it, I think, one time in a video. The Prowlers, um, great music, just blues and rock, and it's gritty. It's fairly well produced as well, and it will clog up your speakers with lots of noise. It's the good kind of noise, though. It'll wake up the neighbors. And one thing about the Prowlers that I really like, they are normal. They are normal people. They are not into this political chaos and madness. In fact, they actually sing songs about how crazy things are. So they're normal, right? There's the inside of the CD. If you want to purchase this album, you go to prowlers-music.com, prowlers-music.com. Tell them that Harmless Dave sent you. Let's see if we can sell a couple of CDs. They also have stuff that they've uploaded since that album came out, and the stuff they've uploaded to places like Spotify and probably YouTube, Apple Music maybe. I listened on Spotify yesterday. I think I cleaned a whole huge section of my house while I had it on. It is some really great music by the Prowlers. Great guitar work. Okay, so check it out if you want to, please. I'm starting to think that if any Van Halen tribute is going to happen, we have to go back to January 14th of 2021, when Sammy Hagar and Michael Anthony were interviewed. And the article was called "It's Gonna Happen," or "It's Going to Happen." They did an interview on Q104.3 FM, New York's Q104.3 radio station, where former Van Halen members Sammy Hagar and Michael Anthony were asked if there are any plans to organize a tribute show in honor of their longtime bandmate, Van Halen guitarist Eddie Van Halen. Sammy Hagar responded, "It's gotta happen." All right. The article says it's gonna happen, but Sammy Hagar says it's gotta happen. No one's really connected all the dots with everyone involved, but I have been told, and I have read interviews with various people involved, including Wolfie and Valerie Bertinelli and Eddie's wife, Janie. That's interesting, that he was married to at the time. Finally, Janie gets a headline here, although you have to go back to January of 2021 to find it. They all said, as soon as this is over, we're going to get everybody together and do a tribute or whatever, just a thank you, a goodbye, a send-off. But then again, it says here, I don't care if it takes 10 years. It will happen. And if we're available to do it, we'll do it, Michael added. We've got to celebrate the music, such good music. Again, people suggested that maybe we give the money over to Mr. Holland's Opus, which helps underprivileged students access musical instruments. That's kind of a weird charity for Eddie Van Halen. I mean, wasn't he culturally illiterate, according to David Lee Roth? I mean, look, folks, the Roth thing, it's obviously not going to happen, right? It's just not going to happen. And I'm thinking this was not too long after Ed had passed away. And these guys in the interview, by the way, there's a video portion of this I think you can look up and watch. The looks on their faces, the sadness was really apparent, much more so than the way David Lee Roth has behaved since Eddie's passing. And I'm sure, Dave was grieving at some point, but publicly, it doesn't look all that good for Roth, who I think certainly sealed his fate when it comes to maybe a future Van Halen tribute. Why would you have Dave there? And, the tribute that they had tried to get off the ground has fizzled out. So my suggestion would be, and maybe Eddie Trunk can pick up the baton here, whatever, the torch, and say, look, Sammy, Michael, Alex, right? Why don't you guys get something going? Or even if it's not involving Alex, I can't see Wolfie looking at a tribute that starts with Sammy Hagar and Michael Anthony and says, no, that's not going to happen. That's a bad idea. No, I think with Sammy's relationships, he's got a little show, or he had a show where he used to interview people. I don't know if that is still going on Access TV. But in any event, Sammy is very well liked within the rock community, although a few writers came out and pounded him for suggesting that we should get back to business a couple of years ago when everything was being shut down and blocked. And, oh, we did the right thing. Yeah. Okay. That's why we're still going through this same stuff 2.5 years later, hearing the same propaganda. And like I said at the time, it's never going to end. Look what they're doing in San Diego, California. I mean, it's all madness. And I was probably the only one who was defending Sammy Hagar at the time. Here's the deal. All of it, when it comes to Sammy Hagar's work ethic and his history and the fact that he still loves to play music for fans, all of that kind of transcends all of the negative sort of propaganda that came his way. And look, I think bottom line is he tries not to offend people. I think he could be far more offensive. Even the people who he's had on his show, like Charlie Daniels and the late, great Charlie Daniels and Ted Nugent, who some would say, how could you interview him? Well, I did it. A lot of people do it because Ted's really smart. You could have Ted. You could have Ted at the Van Halen tribute. Oh, man, you should have every guitar player who was either influenced or inspired by or who appreciated the work of Eddie Van Halen. And imagine like Ted Nugent trying to play Eruption or something like that. It might be fun to see. Or pick your guitar player. Obviously, Joe Satriani has got to be involved, and maybe, whoever, again, was inspired. And there is a long list of people who are still alive, maybe younger players who went in a different direction, but who were inspired by Eddie Van Halen. And anybody else who wants to participate, I mean, it's not that difficult, you would think, to get this off the ground. I'm sure there are many promoters out there, unfortunately, too many promoters, who would like to, get on board with this, but then you have to worry about, $4,000 tickets or some crazy amount. If it's Adele, apparently Adele tickets in Vegas or something, because of scalpers and third parties or whatever it is, $40,000 to go see Adele. Yeah, I'll pass, hard pass on that, right? It's insanity. It's a little bit of inflation, but hey, we learned today that we're in a recession. So although the media says it's not really a recession, even though you've a couple of quarters of negative growth and everything costs like double what it cost last year. Yeah, but gas prices are down, Dave. Yeah, that's not going to make up for all the other stuff. And in fact, that's what set this in motion or helped start it. See how I interject all that stuff that you don't need to know about because you want to get away from it all? If you really want to get away, check out the Prowlers, hardworking band. I watched a few live videos of these guys. And again, this is the kind of music I'd love to go see. You pay a couple of bucks to get into the dive bar. You have a couple of draft beers. You sit down at a sticky table and you watch, guys just bang out some great music. And that's what the Prowlers are all about. All right, that's my video. Sammy Hagar should organize this. I think it would be terrific. And, you bypass all the BS with David Lee Roth. And Eddie finally gets what he deserves, which is a tribute. I know he's not here to see it, but, his wife is here. His ex-wife is here. His son is here. And all the people who loved that guy and thought that he changed music for the better, which he certainly did. All right, people, that's the video. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. Patreon, a measly $1 a month. We got new patrons coming on board. I appreciate that very much. And all those crazy subscribers. How did this channel, people are asking, they're out there. They're actually talking about this. They're like, how did that guy? I mean, yeah, I have no idea either. It is very humorous. And yes, poking fun is what apparently some people like to do. I always say, why don't you watch something else? But I do appreciate the people who watch and actually like the content. So thanks again, and I'll be back soon. So have no fear.